So, dear students, I'll be taking a class on anticoagulants. So anticoagulants, they prevent the coagulation of the blood. So the two types of main categories are the drugs that are used in vivo and the drugs that are used in vitro. So the in vivo drugs, so they can be classified as the parenteral anticoagulants and the oral anticoagulants. So coming to the parenteral anticoagulants, so they are indirect thrombin inhibitors. So they are heparin, low molecular weight heparins, fondaparinux and danaperoid, okay. And the direct thrombin inhibitors, lipirudin, bivalirudin, argatroban. So the oral anticoagulants, so they're mainly the coumarin derivatives, that is bis hydroxycoumarin, dicumarol, warfarin sodium, okay, nicomelon and ethyl bis acetate. Then Indian dione derivatives are phenindione, then direct factor 10A inhibitors, rivaroxaban, and the oral direct thrombin inhibitors are dabigatran. So coming to the drugs that are used in vitro, so that is heparin, then calcium complexing agents, sodium citrate, sodium oxalate, sodium edetate. So heparin, it is around 150 units to prevent the clotting of the 100 ml of blood. So sodium citrate, so we use around 1.65 grams for 350 ml of blood. So used to keep the blood in the fluid state for transfusion. Then sodium oxalate, so 10 milligrams for 1 ml of blood. So used in blood taken for the investigations to prevent the coagulation of the blood, in vitro coagulation. So sodium EDTA is also used for the same purpose, to prevent the coagulation of the blood for in vitro purpose. So how do you define an anticoagulant? So the anticoagulant drugs inhibit either the action of the coagulating factors, mainly heparin, or interfere with the synthesis of the coagulation factors. So they can either act on the action of the coagulating factors or interfere with the synthesis of the coagulation factors. So heparin or unfractionated heparin, that is short form is UFH, that is unfractionated heparin, is a heterogeneous mixture of sulfated mucopolysaccharides with a molecular weight of 10,000 to 20,000 grams per mole. Its biological activity is dependent upon the endogenous anticoagulant antithrombin. Okay. So these are some of the drugs that are mentioned in your syllabus, that is anisodione. So you can go through the structure, see the structure very carefully. So mechanism of action of anisodione, that is interferes with the vitamin K dependent hepatic synthesis of active clotting factors by inhibiting the reduction of vitamin K. This leads to an inhibition of gamma carboxylation of glutamic acid residues to gamma carboxyglutamic acid in clotting factors 2, 7, 9 and 10. So adverse effects of this drug are nausea, diarrhea, pyrexia, dermatitis or exfoliative dermatitis, urticaria, alopecia, then sore mouth. Okay, so these are some of the adverse effects of anisodione. Okay, then comes the clopidogrel. So you can have a look at its structure, clopidogrel. Okay, so mechanism of action, clopidogrel binds to the platelet receptors on the platelet membrane, thus inhibits the platelet aggregation. It inhibits the platelet aggregation. Adverse effects are headache, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, excessive tiredness, nose bleeding. So next comes warfarin. Okay, so warfarin is a very popular drug. So it is a very powerful anticoagulant. So it was initially used as a rat poison. Before they could discover the use as an anticoagulant. Okay, so it is coming under coumarins. So you can see the coumarin structure here. You have also synthesized coumarin, 7-hydroxy-4-methyl-coumarin, synthesis of warfarin. So you can see the structure of the synthesis of warfarin. So it is very important, synthesis of warfarin. Okay. So adverse effects, so it causes bleeding, nausea, vomiting, teratogenicity. Okay. Then bloody stools, nausea, muscle aches. So coming to the use of anticoagulants, the main aim of using the anticoagulants is to prevent the formation of thrombus or the extension of the existing thrombus and any embolic complications by reducing the rate of fibrin formation. So the main uses of these drugs are anticoagulants are deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism. Then in myocardial infarction, in short it is known as MI, unstable angina, rheumatic heart disease, atrial fibrillation, cerebrovascular disease, then in any other vascular surgery, prosthetic heart valves, okay. So in all these conditions, and also defibrillation syndrome. So these are some of the uses of the anticoagulants. So you can expect a 5 mark or a 2 mark question in the university examination. So it is a quite important chapter. Okay, so you can go through it, and if you have any doubts you can post your doubts on WhatsApp. Okay, so I will be putting it in Google Classroom and also in your third year WhatsApp. Okay, thank you very much students, thank you very much, bye.